Right, and coming to our 700 series, we have 6 standards here. This is SA700, SA701 and SA705, 706 and 710 and 720, right? SA700 is dealing about the forming an opinion and reporting on financial statement. SA701 is of communicating key audit matters in the independent auditor's report. 705 is modifications to the opinion in the independent auditor's report, and 706 is emphasis of meta paragraph and other meta paragraph in the independent auditor's report. And 710 is about comparative information, corresponding figures and comparative financial statements, and 720 is about the auditor's responsibilities relating to other information. Right, once again we'll see 700, 701, 705, 706. 700 is forming an opinion and reporting on financial statements. What? Forming an opinion and reporting on financial statements. 701 is communicating key audit matters in the independent auditor's report. 701 communicating key audit matters in the independent auditor's report. And 705, that is modification to the opinion in the independent auditor's report. Modification to the opinion in the independent auditor's report. And 706 is emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph in the independent auditor's report. And 710 is comparative information for comparative information, corresponding figures and comparative financial statements. What? 710 comparative information, corresponding figures and comparative financial statements. And 720 the auditor's responsibilities relating to other information. 710 is about comparative information, corresponding figures and comparative financial statements. 720 the auditor's responsibilities relating to other information. Right, coming to the first standard is 700, SA700, forming an opinion reporting on financial statements. Forming an what? Forming an opinion reporting on financial statement. This is important standard. Right, the main standard deals with auditor's responsibilities to form an opinion. The auditor has to form an opinion, and form and contents of auditor's report. What is the form and content of auditor's report will be there, that the standard will deal, and promotes consistency in other audit reports. Right, SA700 is deals with the general purpose financial framework. SA700 is deals with general purpose financial framework. There is special purpose financial framework. We have a SA800 and 805, which is not in our syllabus. So here SA700 is for general purpose financial framework. Right, general purpose financial statements opinion. Right, and coming to the meaning of context of general purpose financial framework. Financial purpose framework they have defined as to meet the common financial information needs of wide range of information. To meet the common financial information needs to the wide range of information, anything is there. It is called general purpose financial framework. We have two different types of the thing: general purpose financial framework, fair presentation framework, and compliance framework. Right, fair presentation framework and compliance framework. Right, and coming to the fair presentation framework, these are the refers to the financial presentation framework. Financial reporting framework that requires compliance with the requirements of the framework. Means these are the financial reporting framework that requires the compliance of requirements of the framework. And also it acknowledges here the fair presentation framework shall acknowledge that the following may be necessary for the fair presentation of financial statements. What are the acknowledgements? Management may need to provide disclosures beyond the specifically required by the financial reporting framework. Right, in some cases management need to disclose beyond the specifically required by the financial reporting framework for better understanding. Right, and second acknowledgement is management to depart in extremely rare situations from the requirement of framework. And management has to strictly follow the departure is very rare and in extremely rare situations. Like, and coming to the compliance framework. Compliance framework also refers to the financial reporting framework that requires to comply the requirements of the framework but does not contain the acknowledgement as in fair presentation framework. Like fair presentation framework has an acknowledgement that the management may need to provide disclosures beyond the specifically required by the financial reporting framework, and management to depart in extremely rare situations from the requirement of framework. Right, this is the difference about fair presentation framework and compliance framework. There is one same point is refers to the financial reporting framework that requires compliance with the requirements of what? Requirements of financial reporting framework, and acknowledges of what management may need to provide extra disclosures as may be required by the financial reporting framework. And second one is management to depart in extremely rare situations from the requirement of financial reporting framework. The fair presentation framework is example is our financial statements of company prepared under Companies Act 2013. Right. So basically in this standard we will discuss about the following things: the elements of basic elements of financial audit report. What are the basic elements of audit report we'll discuss, and what is the auditor's responsibility particular question we'll discuss, and also the location of description of auditor's responsibility for the audit of financial statement with the auditor responsibility shall be located in the audit report we shall discuss. And also we'll discuss about the audit reports for audits conducted as per SCAs and ISCAs, that is International Standards on Auditing. Any difference will be there audit report, those things we'll discuss, and also supplementary information presented with the financial statements regarding those points also we'll discuss. Right, and coming to the first one, that is basic elements of audit report. Right, Right, and coming to the basic elements are title, addressee, opinion, basis for opinion, going concern, key audit matters, management responsibilities, auditors responsibilities, other reporting responsibilities, and SPD, that is our signature, place, and date. Right, what are the ones again? Title, addressee, opinion, basis for opinion, going concern, key audit matters, management responsibilities, auditors responsibilities, other reporting responsibilities, other legal and reporting responsibilities. Right, what is it? Others. Once again, other reporting responsibility is signature of the audit, due date of auditor's report, and place of signature. Right? And coming to the first one, that is title. In title, what should be there? The audit report should have a title clearly stating that it is a report of independent auditor. That it should have a title that it is an independent auditor report of independent audit report, and addressee. The audit report is normally addressed to those for whom the audit report is prepared, that is shareholders or those charged with governance. Right? Addressee shall be there. The audit report is normally addressed to those for whom the audit report is prepared, means the users of, that is the main addressee. And opinion section. This section states the auditor's opinion on the true and fair view of financial statements. Opinion section of the auditor's report shall have the following. Right, opinion section of the auditor's report will have the following things. Right, and opinion statements will have the following thing. Basically, introduction paragraph has been added to the opinion section. That is, opinion section will have the identify the entity whose financial statements have been audited. State the financial statements have been audited. Means first we have to identify the entity, and we have to say that these financial statements have been audited, and title of each financial statement identify the title of each statement that comprises of financial statements. Refer to the notes, including summary of significant accounting policies, and specify the date or period covered by the each financial statement. Right, what are the things we have to do? First, we have to identify the entity and that these financial statements are audited, and we have to identify the title of each financial statement and summary of accounting policies and date and period covered. Right, the date of the period covered by each financial statements. Right, this is about opinion section. Generally, introduction paragraph has been added in the opinion section. And coming to the next, basis for opinion section, we have basis for opinion section SREES, that is standards on auditing, responsibilities of auditor, and ethical requirements, including independence and sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Right, in basis for opinion paragraph, we have this SREES, basis for opinion paragraph SREES, that is SAs, responsibilities of auditor, ethical requirements, including independence, SAAE. Right, in this basis for opinion paragraph, SREES is for standards on auditing, that this audit basis for opinion said that audit has been conducted in accordance with standards on auditing, and R is for responsibilities of auditor. It also refers to that part of the section of auditor responsibilities, refers to the section of the auditor's report that describes the auditor's responsibilities and other standards on auditing, and it just referred to that particular section here. And the SREE, next one, ethical requirements, it includes a statement that auditor is an independent of the entity in accordance with ethical requirements as given by the ICAI, that code of ethics of ICAI. And also next one is sufficient appropriate audit evidence. State whether the auditor believes that the audit evidence the auditor has obtained sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for the auditor's opinion. Means whatever the audit evidence he have obtained, he have believed that the audit evidence is sufficient and appropriate for his providing the basis for his opinion. Right, this is about basis for opinion section. And coming to the next section, going concern is we have seen where applicable the auditor shall report in accordance to the SA 570. Right, this going concern paragraph may come or may not come. Visiting paragraph, like whenever there is a doubt regarding the going concern as per SA 570, then this particular paragraph will come. And coming to the key audit matters, for audit of complete setup for general purpose and the listed entities, as per 701, these key audit matters will come. And next one, come to the management responsibilities. Management responsibilities, it describes the responsibilities of management for the preparation presentation of financial framework in responsibilities and describe terms of engagement. Right, what are the terms of engagement that management responsibilities? Here also once again we will give the management responsibilities are as follows. In this we have the main function is the preparation presentation of financial statements, and others are 3A GIFC. 3A is for accounting standards, accounting policies and estimates, and accounting records, and G is for going concern, and IFC is for internal financial controls. Right, management is responsible for the following strict accounting standards, and it also responsible for following accounting policies and accounting estimates and maintaining accounting records for better preparation of financial statements. And also management has a responsibility for assessing the ability to continue as a going concern as per 570, and also management has a responsibility for exercising internal financial controls as required. Right, this is about management responsibility paragraph. Coming to the auditor's responsibility paragraph. Right, And the main responsibilities of auditors responsibility is that reasonable assurance, right? As per SS 100, SS 200, we have seen that our objective is to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as to whole are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. Right? This is the main responsibility. You have to provide reasonable assurance. Is the main responsibility. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it is not guaranteed that the audit conducted in accordance with SS will always detect the material misstatements and exist. Right? This is about auditor responsibilities, and other reporting responsibilities of auditor are as follows. Right? And these other reporting responsibilities of auditor may be put in the website and reference in given in the audit report, or may be added as an appendix to the auditor's report. Okay, these three other auditors reporting responsibilities may put in the website and just given reference in here, and also they may be added an appendix to this audit report, right? And coming to this other reporting responsibility, what are they? Then we can say PRIA GST, that is without PRIA without a Y GST. P is for professional judgment and skepticism, R is for risk of material misstatements, and IFC internal financial controls. A is for accounting policies, accounting estimates, and G is for going concern, and C is for structure, presentation, context, and T is for those with governance, right? PRIA GST, right? Main thing that is next first one is P, that is professional judgment or professional skepticism. Like the state that as part of the audit in accordance with the standards on auditing, the auditor exercises professional judgment and maintains professional skepticism throughout the audit, right? And coming to the next one is so next one is R, that is to identify and assess the risk of material misstatements of financial statements, whether due to fraud or error. That is R, risk of material misstatement, to identify the risk of material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, to design and perform audit procedures based on the risk, and to obtain audit evidence that is sufficient to and appropriate to provide the basis for auditor's opinion, right? What is it? Risk of material misstatements. R, next one is I, PRIA I to obtain understanding of internal controls relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances. To obtain understanding of the internal controls relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, right? And next one is A without a Y, A, and to evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies using the reasonableness for accounting estimates and related discussion may be made by the management. It has to evaluate the appropriateness of the accounting policies used and reasonableness of the accounting estimates and related disclosures made by the management. Right? And next one is G, to conclude on the appropriateness of management use of going concern base of accounting. Right? It has to be an appropriateness of management use of going concern, that is G. And next one is yes, evaluate oral presentation structure and content of financial statement, including the disclosures and whether the financial statements present underlying transaction events in the manner as it achieved the fair presentation, right? That is P is for structure, and next one is T, we communicate with those with the governance regarding other among other matters the plan, scope, and timing of audit and significant findings, including the significant deficiencies in internal controls that we identified during that we have seen our essay. Is it 250, 260, 265 series, right? That we have communicated those charged with governance as well as 260 or not. That is the T, right? What is the PRIA without a Y GST? That is professional judgment and professional skepticism, risk of material misstatements, and internal controls relevant to the audit. And A is for appropriateness of accounting policy, accounting estimate. G is for going concern. S is for structure, presentation, and content. T is for those charged with governance, right? This is about auditor's responsibilities. And coming to the next, that is other reporting responsibility. In this section, the covers reporting of over other additional matters on which the auditor is required to report, and the statutory requirement, that is 143 subsection, that is 10 points are there, right? Those 10 points are the reporting responsibilities, and signature of the auditor and data of the auditor's report and place of signature. The signature auditor's report to be signed in the auditor's personal name, where firm appointed as auditor, reported signed in personal name and name the audit firm. And date of auditor's report, it should not be earlier than the date on which the auditor has obtained sufficient appropriate audit evidence in which to base his auditor's opinion, right? This point we have seen in our question in our right, SQC1 and SC220, right? That is engagement quality review. The same question here, it says 700 data of auditor's report. It should not be earlier than the date on which the auditor has obtained sufficient and appropriate audit evidence on which to base auditor's opinion. Next, in place of signature, it is ordinarily the city where audit report is signed, right? This is about basic elements of auditor's report. And coming to, we have auditor's responsibility, we have clear, that is PRIA without a Y, and GST we have already seen. And coming to the next one, that is very important, the one we are going to discuss, right? And coming to the next one, that is location of description of auditor's responsibilities of the audit of financial statement. That is description of auditor's responsibilities for the audit of financial statements shall be included. There are three options for the location of auditor's responsibility statement. That is, one is that is present within the body of auditor's report. It may be in the body of auditor's report, or it may be as an appendix, or it may be in the website, right? It may be in the body of report, it may be in the what in the appendix, or it may be in the website, right? If it is within the body of report, there is no problem. If within the appendix to the auditor's report, in such a case, the auditor's report shall include the reference to the particular location of the appendix, right? It is an appendix to the auditor's report, then that particular thing in audit report, there should be some reference to this particular appendix will be made by specific reference with an auditor's report to the location of such description on a website of an approved authority where law and regulatory requirements, right? If it is in website, there shall be specific reference to that particular website in the auditor's report when the law permits. So, right, when the auditor refers to the description of auditor's report responsibilities on website of an appropriate authority, the auditor shall determine that such description addresses and not in connection with the requirements of SS. Right? Whenever the auditor has given specific reference to the website about the auditor's responsibility, that he shall also state that those responsibilities are not inconsistent with the requirements of standards on auditing. This is about location. There are three options: body, appendix, and website. Right? And coming to the next one, that is audit report for audit conducted as per standards on auditing and international standards on auditing, right? Very important question, RTP question, right? In case of both international standards on auditing and international standards on auditing and standards on auditing of India applies to a particular company, an auditor may be required to conduct an audit in accordance with the international standards on auditing and international standards on auditing issued with ICA. If this is a case, then the audit report may refer to the standards on auditing in addition to the international standards on auditing, but the auditor shall do so only if, but he can refer both the standards on auditing as well as international standards on auditing only if the two conditions are there. If the two conditions are satisfied, then only he can refer both the things, right? Coming to the first condition, there is no conflict between the requirements and the requirements of international standards on auditing and standards on auditing that would lead the auditor to form a different opinion or not to include an emphasis of matter paragraph or other matter paragraph in that particular circumstance is required by the ASA. Right, the first condition is there should not be any conflict between these particular two standards that would lead the auditor to form a different of opinion. Maybe because of this conflict, the auditor has to form different of opinion, or because of this conflict, the auditor has decided not to include any emphasis of matter paragraph or other matter paragraph in a particular circumstance required by the standards on auditing. Because it is required by standards on auditing, but the auditor has thought would lead the auditor to not to include an emphasis of matter paragraph or other matter paragraph as not 6 because of the conflict between the two standards. Auditor has decided not to include this emphasis of matter paragraph or other matter paragraph which is required by the SCA, right? That is one condition, that is there should not be any conflict because of this two, because of that the auditor will do the following thing. There should not be no conflict. And second condition is that the auditor report should include at least minimum each set of elements set out the auditor's report described by law regulation described above the foreign auditing standards, right? It should contain minimum each set of elements, that is basic elements you have seen, that title, address, the same thing for the basic elements, the same thing shall be there in the auditor's report. There is second condition. What the first condition, there should not be any conflict, and second condition is that auditor's report shall include the minimum basic set of elements as referred to the law or regulation, and also the by standards on auditing. There is no conflict between the requirements of the international standard and those are governance that would lead the auditor, because there is no conflict, and that would lead the auditor, if there is any conflict, that would lead the auditor to form a different opinion and not to include the emphasis of matter paragraph, other matter paragraph because of that conflict even though as required by the SCA. Then if there is any conflict, then the reference shall not be given. If there is no conflict, then the reference shall be given, right? Whether the auditor reports reference to both IS and the international standards on auditing and standards on auditing issued by the ICA, the auditor report shall clearly identify the same, including the jurisdiction of origin of the other standards on auditing, right? That it should be clearly identify the same, means this point has reference with the standards on auditing and this point has reference to the international standards on auditing, and also including the jurisdiction of the origin of the other standards, means from whose jurisdiction that other standards on international standards on auditing has been taken from. Like for example, if it is a CPA, AICPA we will take, right? That is the jurisdiction of origin, right? And coming to the supplementary information presented with respect to the financial statements. Like, and come to supplementary information. Supplementary information means the supplementary information is presented with the audited financial statement but not required to the financial reporting framework, the auditor shall, right? If the supplementary financial statement supplementary information is not required to the financial reporting framework, that then also the management has reported the supplementary financial information in the audit report, in the audited financial statements, then but not required to the financial reporting framework, then auditor shall do the following things. The auditor first analyze that whether it forms of integral part of financial statements or not. If it forms part of integral financial statement, then it's fine. That auditor has to make an opinion on this also, that how it is presented. If such financial information is nevertheless integral part of the financial statement due to its nature, the auditor is required to cover in his audit opinion how it is presented, right? If it is not an integral part of the audit of financial statement, then it shall be clearly differentiated that it is unaudited, right? And also, if it is not clearly differentiable, then that asks the management to differentiate. If the management has agreed, then it's okay. If the management does not agree, explain in audit report that the supplementary information is not audited, right? Here supplementary information like in whenever you see the audited financial statement, that annual report, we have some bars and charts will be there, right? Revenue charts and likes, IFRS note, convert them, so many points with that. Those are the supplementary financial information that are not required by the financial reporting framework, even though that management has given the audit report, right? And if the supplementary financial information presented with the audited financial report but not required with the FRF, the auditor shall evaluate the supplementary financial report is clearly differentiable from audited financial report. If not, ask the management to change the presentation of unaudited financial supplementary information. If the management refuses to explain in auditor's report, the supplementary financial information is unaudited. If the supplementary financial information is an integral part of the financial statements, due to its auditor is required to cover in our audit report and how it is presented, right? This is about SA 700, that is forming an opinion and reporting on financial statements, right? And coming to the next standard is 701. That is SS 700, is communicating key audit matters in the independent auditor's report. SS 700, communicating key audit report in independent auditor's report. First we'll see the scope, and we'll see the purpose of key audit matters, and we'll see the definition of key audit matters, and how we'll determine the key audit matters, and we'll see how the key audit matters is communicated in that audit report, right? The scope of SS 700 is communicating key audit matters in independent auditor's report. The scope is this essay deals with the auditor's responsibility to communicate the key audit matters in the auditor's report. Communicating key audit matters in the auditor's report is not, there are four things, like it is not a substitute for disclosure in this financial that are applicable financial reporting framework. Management, it is not a substitute, it's not substitute for four things, 4 M's we can say. It is not substitute for management, it is not substitute for modified opinion, it's not substitute for material uncertainty, it is not substitute for materiality matters, it is not substitute for matters, right? What are the four things? Management, modified opinion, material uncertainty, matters, right? Communicating key audit matters in the auditor's report is not a substitute for disclosures in financial statement that are applicable financial reporting framework management to make that otherwise necessary to achieve the fair presentation, right? It is not substitute for disclosures, and also it is not a substitute for the auditors expressing a modified opinion when the required by the circumstances for specific audit engagement in accordance with 705. It is not substitute for the modification also, and also it is not substitute for reporting in accordance with SF 570 when the material uncertainty exists relating to the events or condition that may cast significant doubt on the entity's ability to continue as a going concern. Like if any matter which is basis for modified opinion, then it is not a key audit matter. If any matter which is for concerning going concern, then also it is not a key audit matter. It is not a substitute for that. We have to report according to particular standards. And also 4 M's, management, it is not a substitute for disclosure of management. It is not a substitute for modified opinion, substitute for going concern. It is not a substitute for a separate opinion on individual matters. It is not substitute for separate opinion on individual matters, right? And at one time we cannot disclose these key audit matters, whereas SA 705 prohibits the auditor from communicating key audit matters when the auditor disclaims opinion on financial statements unless such reporting is required by the law or regulations. See, for example, in 705 we have disclaimed the opinion, then the key audit matters paragraph will not be there. It can be there if it is required by the law or regulation. It can be there, right? And also key audit matters paragraph is mandatory for the listed entities, right? And next one is what is the meaning of key audit matters? What is a key audit matter? Here the key word is most significant. What? Most significant. Those matters that in auditor's professional judgment were of most significance in audit of financial statements of the current period. Right? Those matters in the auditor's professional judgment are of what? Most significance. Most significance in the audit of financial statements of current period. Key audit matters are selected from matters communicated with those charged with governance. Right? Those matters that in auditor's professional judgment are most significant in audit of financial statements of current period, and key audit matters are selected from the matters communicated with those charged with governance. Like we have already seen in 2C that is communication with those charged with governance, right? In that we have seen on the form and content communication effect. In that first point also it is a key audit matter, right? That point here, key audit matters are selected from the matters communicated with those charged with governance. Those matters that are in addition in the auditor's professional judgment were of most significance in the audit of financial and the current period. Key audit matters are selected from what? Matters communicated with those charged with governance, right? And coming to the purpose, various purpose of key audit matters may be listed as follows. So how this key audit matter purpose, right? What is the purpose of communication these key audit matters in the auditor's report, right? Right, the purpose is to enhance the communicative value of the auditor's report by providing greater transparency about the audit that was performed. Right, it will enhance the communicative value of the auditor's report. Right, there is a key audit matter, it enhances the communicative value and it provides additional information and it assists the intended users and further engage. What are the 4 points are there? What are the 4 points? Communicated value, it enhances the communicated value and it additional information, it provides additional information and it assists the intended users and further engage. What? Right, to enhance the communicative value of the auditor's report and greater transparency in the audit was performed. about it was upon, and to provide additional information to the intended users of financial statement to assist them, right? To provide additional information to the users of financial statement to assist them in understanding those matters that in the professional judgment of auditor were of most significance in the audit of financial statement of current period, that is key audit matter definition, right? First one, communicative value of the audit report will be increased to enhance the communicative value of auditor's report, and next one is right, to provide additional information to the users of financial statement to understand those matters which the auditor's opinion are most professional judgment or most significant in the audit of financial of current period. And next, to assist the intended users in understanding the entity and the areas of significant management judgment in the audit of financial statements, right? It also assists the intended users to understand that where the entities and management significant judgments in the audit of financial statement, management significant judgments, right? And come to the next one, that is it provides a basis for further engage with the management and those concerns about the certain matters related to the audit entity, the audit financial statements, or the audit that was performed, right? To provide basis for further engage with the management those charged with governance, right? It also provides for further engagement with the management those charged with governance, certain matters relating to the entity that the audited financial statements or the audit that was performed, right? This is the purpose, communicative value, additional information, assist the intended users in understanding the areas of significant management judgments in order to financial statements, and further engage with management and also with governance, right? These are the four things of purpose of communicating key audit matters. And coming to the next question, that is consideration to determine the key audit matters, how the key audit matters will be determined and what considerations we have auditor has to take by deciding that particular matter is a key audit matter or not. Right, coming to this consideration to determine the key audit matters, right? We have 3 points here. The auditor should determine from the matters communicate those charged with governance, those matters that are required significant auditor settings in performing the audit. In making the determination, the auditor shall consider the following. The auditor has to consider the following. First, we'll write if any question is asking key audit matters, we'll ask the definition that these are the matters that in the auditor's professional judgment that are most significant in the audit of financial statements of current period. Right, key audit matters are selected on the communication made from the those with governance, right? What are the determination considerations of key audit? There are three conditions. The areas of high assessed ROMM, that is risk of material significant risk identified in according to the SA 315, means the areas of high assessed risks or significant risk identified as per the SA 315. This point we have already seen in our risk based audit in our first 3 chapters audio revision video, that is risk based audit. We see risk based audit basically will analyze the risk and will set a materiality level, threshold limits, and will allocate the audited resources to the areas of high risk, right? This is the first point, that is areas of high assessed risk of material misstatement or significant risk identified during as per 315. This is a determination of key audit matter, and the significant audited judgment related to the areas of financial statement that is significant management judgment, right? Significant audited judgment, there is a class between significant audited judgment as well as significant management judgment, including accounting estimate that have been identified as having high estimation uncertainty. Then that is also the point of a key audit matter. That for the first point, areas of high risk are identified significant risk as per 315, and significant audit judgment involved in the financial statements as well as the significant management judgment, accounting estimates, estimation uncertainty, high estimation uncertainty, and the effect of the significant events or transactions that occur during the period. The effect on the audit of significant events or transactions that occur during the period means what are any significant transactions or events occurred, and what is the effect of those transactions on the audit of financial statements during the current period. Based on the 3 factors, we will determine whether it is a key audit matter or not, right? What are the 3 points? Areas of high assessed risk are significant risk as of 315, and significant audited judgment is significant management judgment, accounting estimates, high degree of high estimation uncertainty, and effect of audit on the significant matters and events occurring during the audit. Right, and coming to the next point, that is the introductory language. Introductory language is the key audit matter paragraph. If any key audit matter paragraph is repeated in the key audit, separate separate paragraph should be there under heading key audit matter. What is the introduction paragraph will be like? The key audit matters are those matters that are in the auditor's professional judgment are of most significance in the audit of financial of the current period, and these are definition generally will definition, and these matters are were addressed in the context of an audit of financial as a whole, and informing the auditor's opinion thereon the auditor does not provide a separate opinion on these matters, right? And these matters are addressed to the context of audit of financial statements as a whole, means as a whole we have addressed these matters, and also these because of this matter the auditor is not giving any separate opinion, right? So informing the auditor's opinion thereon, the auditor does not provide any separate opinion on these matters, right? If a separate opinion, then it will not come under key audit matter, right? It is not substituted for a modified opinion. We have already discussed in our 4 substitutes, 4 M's, that is our disclosure management, modified opinion, material uncertainty matters, right? And coming to the next one, that is our description of key audit matter, description of individual key audit matters, because how the individual key audit matter will be described in our audit report. The description of each key audit matter if in the key audit matter section of the auditor's report shall include a reference to the related disclosures. Right? If any related disclosures will be there, right? If that particular key audit matter, there should be a reference to that particular related disclosures, if any, in the financial statement, and shall address how and why the matter was considered as the one of the most significant in the audit, and thereon the determined to be key audit matter, and how the matter is being addressed in the audit. Right? Why and how. The description is why and how. Right? Right, come to the next one, that is the circumstances in which a matter determined to be key audit matter is not communicated in the auditor's report. What are the circumstances? See, if it is a key audit matter, also the auditor is not required to communicate in the auditor's report when there are two circumstances. The first circumstance is the law or regulation precludes public disclosure about the matter. Whether there any particular law or regulation which precludes the public disclosure about the matter, means that particular matter shall not be disclosed about the law or regulation, then it will not be communicate as key audit matter, not as report. And second condition, in extremely rare situations, rare circumstances, the auditors determines that the matter should not be communicated in the auditor's report because the adverse consequence of doing so would reasonably be expected outweigh the public interest benefits of the such communication. Right? And also the one second condition is that in extremely rare situations, the auditors thinks that that matter should not be communicated in the auditor's report because of what? Because of the consequences which having adverse effect on the public interest benefits of such communication. Right? Then the key audit shall not be disclosed. Extremely rare situation will be there, and this extremely rare situation will not apply if that company, if that entity has made that matter public. Then this auditor cannot take decision, he has to disclose as per communicating key matters. Right? What are the two conditions? Law or regulation. And extremely rare situation, the auditors think that it will consequences result in the extreme adverse public interest benefits of communication. This point is not applicable if the entity has already made communicate that matter to the public. Right? And form and content of key audit matters sections in other circumstances. Right? If the auditor determines that depending on the facts and circumstances of the entity and the auditor that there are no key audit matter to communicate, or that only the key audit matters communicated or those matters that give rise to modified opinion, the auditor shall include a statement to this effect in the separate section of the auditor's report under the key audit matter. Right? There is a key audit matter is there, and on that basis only auditor is forming his opinion. Right, is forming his opinion as per the basis of opinion. Then what auditor has to discuss, whether auditor can discuss, whether auditor has to report as separate paragraph as key audit matter or not. Yes, auditor has to report a key audit matter, but he has to state the fact that except for this we have done the audit, except for this matter specified in the basis of opinion paragraph, we have not found any key audit matters. Like that, auditor has to make a statement the key audit matter paragraph shall be must. Right? That is an MCQ has been tested in this case. Right? Right, this is all about SA 701, and going to the 705, that is modification to the opinion in the independent auditor's report. What? Modification to the opinion in the independent auditor's report. Right? Right, in this standard, that is a 705, modification to the opinion in the independent auditor's report. What? Modifications to the opinion in the independent auditor's report. We are going to discuss about what are the types of opinion, what are the different types of opinion: qualified opinion, adverse opinion, disclaimer opinion, and when these opinions will be given, like on what basis, and circumstances when a modification to the auditor's opinion is required, and what are the circumstances when the modification to auditor's opinion is required. And we'll see the limitation after the auditor has accepted the engagement. Means if the auditor has accepted the engagement and the management is imposing limitation on scope, what the auditor has to do. If it is before the management is imposing any limitation, that thing will be dealt as per SA 210. Right? Agreeing the terms of engagement, that thing. And one more thing, next one we'll see the form and content of auditor's report when the opinion is modified. Right? We have seen the basic elements of audit report as per SA 700. Right? Forming an opinion and SA 700, that is forming an opinion and reporting on financial statements. Right? Here we'll see that based on the different types of modified opinion, if it is qualified opinion, how the format will be there. If it is adverse opinion, how the format will be there. If it is a disclaimer opinion, how the format will be there. We're going to discuss in this particular standard. SA 705, modification to the independent auditor's report. Right? Coming to the first thing, the standard deals with the auditor's responsibility to issue an appropriate report in circumstances when forming an opinion according to the SA 100. The auditor concludes the modification to the auditor's opinion is necessary. Right? The auditor has to give appropriate opinion as forming an opinion according to the SA 700. The auditor concludes the modification to the auditor's opinion is necessary. Then he has to modify the opinion as per SA 705. This we can say is a helicopter standard. Right? And coming to the types of modified opinion, right, we divide in these two tables. That is nature of matter giving rise to modification. What is the nature of matter that giving rise to modification? And auditor's judgment about the pervasiveness of the effect or possible effects of the financial statements will give in the two tables. Right? If the nature is financial statements are materially misstated and that pervasiveness effect is qualified, pervasive effect is material but not pervasive. What is material but not pervasive, then the auditor will give qualified opinion. If these financial statements are materially misstatement and the auditor judgment of the pervasiveness of the effect is material and pervasive, then he will give adverse opinion. And if the nature is inability to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence and the auditor judgment about the pervasiveness of possible effects of the financial statements is material but not pervasive, he will give qualified opinion. And the nature is inability to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence and the auditor judgment about the pervasiveness of the effect, possible effect here, possible effect because he is inability to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, right? What is the auditor judgment about the pervasiveness of the possible effect of the financial statements is material and pervasive because of the nature of inability to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, then he will give disclaimer of opinion, right? These are different types of opinion: qualified, adverse, disclaimer, qualified, adverse, disclaimer, right? What are the nature of financial statements are materially misstated and inability to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, right? Coming to the next one, that is the circumstances when a modification to the auditor's opinion is required. When the modification of auditor's opinion is required, right? We'll just read out this thing. That is very simple one. The auditor concludes that based on the audit evidence obtained, the financial statements are whole or not free from material misstatements made due to the following reasons. Means the auditor has concluded that he has obtained some audit evidence and he has know that these financial statements have some material misstatements. These are not free from material misstatements because of the following reasons. That the reasons may be inappropriate accounting policies, inappropriate application of selected accounting policies, inappropriate or inadequate disclosure of financial statements. What are these? Inappropriate accounting policies, inappropriate or application of selected accounting policies, inappropriate or inadequate disclosure of financial statement. Because of this reason, the reason not free from material misstatements, then he can modify his opinion. That is the first case. And second case, that is the auditor is unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence to conclude that the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatements, maybe due to the following reasons. Means that he is not able to obtain any information that these financial statements are free from material misstatements because the main objective of the auditor is to express an opinion, that is as far as 200, that financial reasonable assumption that financial statements are free from misstatement due to fraud or in the current period during the audit is done, right? As far as 200, that is the main expression of opinion is there. Because of that reason, auditor is unable to obtain them. Because for that reason, the auditor tried to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, but he is unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, and to conclude that the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatements. But the following is what are the reasons? Limitation imposed by scope, limitation imposed by management, circumstances beyond the control of management, and circumstances related to the nature, timing, extent of auditor's work. What are the three conditions? Limitation imposed by management, circumstances beyond entity control, that is example accounting record destroyed by fire, and circumstances related to nature and timing, extent of auditor's work, right? This is the circumstances of the when modification to auditor's opinion is required, that is these are free from material misstatements and he is unable to obtain audit evidence, sufficient appropriate audit evidence, right? And coming to the next one, that is the limitation after the auditor has accepted the engagement. Means the auditor has accepted the engagement and the management is imposing limitation on scope. Then what auditor has to do? That thing is dealt in as per SA 705, right? What is the limitation if imposed on the management? Then what will we do? That is, auditors accept the engagement and management imposes a scope limitation likely to result in the qualification or disclaimer. Because of that limitation, the report should be issued is qualified as disclaimer. Then the request management to remove the limitation. Then management refuses. Then communicate to those charged with governance. Then determine the possibility of the performing alternate procedure to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Unable to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence, then determine the possible effect on the financial statement. Material but not pervasive, we have to use qualified opinion. If it is material and pervasive, reason whenever practicable and not prohibited by law. if withdrawal is practicable and permitted by the law, then resign. And if not possible to resign, communicate to those charged with governance and disclaim the opinion. Right? What they want to see, the auditors accept the engagement, management imposes scope limitation. Then the request management to remove the limitation. Management refuses, communicate to those charged with governance. Then check for the alternate process of obtaining sufficient upload or ordering they are not unable to obtain. Then determine the possible effect. What is the possible effect? Material but not pervasive. Qualified. Material and pervasive. First, try to withdraw from the engagement if permitted by law. Then, if it is not possible to resign, then communicate to those charged with governance and disclaim the opinion. Right? Form and content modification. If that is an unmodified opinion, the same format as we have discussed in our SA 700, the same format will be there. If it is a qualified opinion, we will see the title and address will be the same for all the qualified advice and disclaimer. And coming to the first qualified opinion, in the case of that opinion paragraph, title, address, opinion paragraph, that is qualified opinion. If it is a qualified opinion, what words we have to use in that thing, that here we will discuss right now. Right? That qualified opinion is due to that the financial statements are materially misstated. Then the words shall be used is the auditor's opinion except for the effects of the matters described in the basis for qualified opinion paragraph. The accompanying financial statements give true and fair view. Right? What the words have to be except for the effects that matters prescribed on the basis for qualified opinion, except for the matters we have to use. If it is a fair presentation framework, we have to use true and fair. If it is a compliance framework, we have to use prepared. Right? And if it is due to the unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence and the modification is qualified, then what words you have to use? Except for the possible effects of the matter specified in this basis for qualified opinion. Right? The same words we have to use, except for the qualified and the true and fair. That thing we have to give, except for the possible effects of matters for the modified opinion we have to use. Right? If it's an adverse opinion, the title and address is the same, and adverse opinion we have to use like the auditor's opinion because of the significant matters described in the basis for adverse opinion. The accompanying financial statements do not present a true and fair view. In accordance with applicable financial reporting framework, we have to use because of the significant matters prescribed the basis for the adverse opinion. That our financial statements do not present a true and fair view. Right? If it is because of if it is a compliance framework, we have to use the same thing because of significant matters described in the basis for the adverse opinion paragraph has not been prepared in applicable financial reporting framework. Right? This adverse opinion, there is no unable to obtain sufficient material misstatements. Right? And coming to the disclaimer opinion, in disclaimer opinion, the same title and address will be the same. And next one, disclaimer opinion, that opinion paragraph, the word that heading shall be changed to disclaimer opinion, and we have to write as follows. Because of the significance of the matter described in the basis for disclaimer opinion, the auditor has not been able to obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence to provide the basis for an audit opinion on the financial statements. Right? And amended that in the opening section which indicates the financial statements have been audited to state that the auditor was engaged to audit the financial statements. Right? Basically, in opening section we will start with the words we have audited. Then we here in disclaimer of opinion you should write we were engaged to the audit. Right? And also the main word is here. Right? Because of the significance of the matters described on the basis for disclaimer opinion, the auditor has not able to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence to provide the basis for audit opinion, and we are engaged. This is the very important word. And coming next to that basis of opinion paragraph. Right? In this basis for opinion paragraph, in case of a qualified opinion, the same thing as we have discussed in our SA 700. Right? SRES, that is standards on auditing, responsibilities of auditor, refers to responsibilities of auditor and ethical requirements including independent and substantive approach audit evidence. Right? The same thing will come in this basis for qualified opinion paragraph also. But one more thing extra will come, the reasons will come. Right? What are the reasons for this qualified opinion is given? The reasons will come, and in sufficient appropriate audit evidence, the words will be replaced as follows. Like we believe that the audit evidence we have obtained in sufficient appropriate to provide the basis for qualified opinion. Right? Same in the case of adverse opinion, the same basis for adverse opinion will change and the reasons will be there. And same SRE, that's the standards on auditing, responsibilities, reference to responsibilities of auditor, ethical requirements including independence, and sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Right? Here also the same thing will be there. We believe that the auditor believe that the audit evidence we have obtained in sufficient appropriate to provide the basis for our adverse opinion. Right? And in case of a disclaimer opinion, that in the basis of disclaimer opinion, the reasons will be there, and only reasons that SRES conditions will not be there in the disclaimer opinion. Right? The only reasons SRES will not be there. Right? That SRES in case of disclaimer opinion will shift to that auditor's report, and that also that SRES completely will not be there. Only SES will be there. That is R will not be there. That is auditor's responsibilities reference will not be there because that has been shifted to auditor's responsibility and reference is not required. SES only will be there. Right? Completed title, address, opinion, basis for opinion, management responsibilities, auditors responsibilities, everything is same. Only for disclaimer opinion that basis for opinion paragraph, basis for disclaimer opinion paragraph is there. Only reasons will be there. SRES will not be there. SRES will shift to auditor's responsibility paragraph, right? And coming to the next one, remaining everything is same, like going concern, other reporting responsibility matters, keyword matters, everything will be there. In keyword matters, the words in case of qualified and adverse opinion we will use, except for the matters described in qualified basis for qualified opinion, or except the matters described in the basis for adverse opinion. We have determined the following as keyword matters: a description and how, why it is keyword matter, and how it is addressed. Right. This is all about SA 705. Right. Right, and coming to the standard, that is SA 706, emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph in the independent auditors report, right? SA 706, emphasis of matter paragraphs and other matter paragraph in the independent auditors report, right? This deals with the two things, that is emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. In this standard, we are going to discuss about the following, right? That is the definition of emphasis matter paragraph and other matter paragraph, and requirement with respect to the emphasis matter paragraph, and requirements with respect to the other matter paragraph, and circumstances when the emphasis of matter paragraph can be included in the auditor's report. Means examples of emphasis of other matter paragraph, right? And next one is the location, the placement of this EOM or OOM, emphasis of other matter paragraph or other matter paragraph, EOM or OMP, right? These we are going to discuss in this particular standard. And coming to the first one is emphasis of matter paragraph. When it should be emphasis of matter paragraph in general sense, see, if any that a para included in the auditor's report that refers to a matter appropriately presented or disclosed in financial statement that in the auditor's judgment is of such importance it is fundamental to user's understanding of financial statements. Means the matter shall be in the financial statement disclosed or presented in the financial statements, and the auditor judgment thinks that it should be given in the auditor report, then auditor will make a reference to the particular matter presented and disclosed in financial statements. That will be fundamental to user's understanding, right? The keywords here, it shall be in the financial statement, and reference shall be given to that, and it is fundamental to the user's understanding, right? Once again, we'll see the para included in the auditor's report. The para means what is the para? That is emphasis of matter paragraph included in the auditor's report that is referring to the matter which is presented or disclosed in the financial statements in the auditor judgment. In the auditor thinks that is of such importance, it is fundamental to the user's understanding of financial statements, right? This is a emphasis of matter paragraph. And coming to the other matter paragraph, the para included in the auditor's report that refers to matters other than those presented or disclosed in the financial statement that in auditor's judgment is relevant to the user's understanding of audit and auditor's responsibilities or auditor's report, right? This is different from emphasis of matter paragraph. In other matter paragraph, if para is set to other matter paragraph, then that reference shall be given to the matter which is not there in the financial statement, which is not presented in the financial statement, not disclosed in the financial statements in the auditor judgment, which is relevant to the user's understanding. They're fundamental, here relevant, right? And once again, we'll see that a para included in the auditor's report that the refer to the matter other than those that are disclosed or presented in the financial statements in financial statement that in the auditor judgment, in whose judgment auditor thinks that it is relevant to the understanding, user's understanding of audit, users understanding of audit, their users understanding of financial statements here, because it is not there in the financial statement, we have to write users understanding of audit, auditor's responsibilities or audit report, right? This is about other emphasis of matter paragraph. Another matter paragraph, very important, fundamental to the user's understanding of financial statements, here relevant to the user understanding of audit, auditor's responsibilities, audit report, right? Very important here. And coming to the next one, requirement with respect to the emphasis of matter paragraph. Right, that is the emphasis of matter paragraph in the auditor's report provided only if it is that matter is not a basis for modification, that is SA 705 is not there, and as well as that matter is not key audit matter, that is SA 701 is not there, right? Auditor shall include as emphasis of matter paragraph in the auditor's report provided that the auditor would not be required to modify the opinion, means would not be required to modify the opinion in accordance with the SA 705 as a result of the matter, means that matter which is going to be presented in the emphasis of matter paragraph as a result of that matter, auditor is not going to modify his opinion as far as 705. And the second point is when SA 701 applies, the matter has not been determined to be a key audit matter to be committed in the auditor's report. Like if it is not a key audit matter, then it can be reported the emphasis of matter paragraph. If it is any of the two, emphasis of matter paragraph cannot be given in the auditor's report. And coming to the next one, that is when the auditor includes the emphasis of matter paragraph in the auditor's report, the auditor shall, right? If the auditor has included the emphasis of matter paragraph in the audit report, what the auditor has to do? There are 3 points, right? That it shall be reported in the separate section, that emphasis of matter paragraph, that elements we have seen, that separate section shall be given. right, as an emphasis of matter paragraph, and also it's a clear reference shall be given to the financial statements which have been disclosed, and it shall refer only to the information which has been disclosed in the financial information. First, it shall be a separate section of the auditor's report. A separate section in the audit report shall begin with stating the heading, emphasis of matter paragraph, or appropriate heading, right? And next one is it shall give a clear reference to the matter that is presented only in the information disclosure, information that is presented or disclosed in the financial statements only. And third point is it indicates the auditor's opinion is not modified in respect of the matter emphasized, right? That point we have seen that above 701, 705. So it also in this the third point also you have to indicate that the auditor's opinion is not modified in respect of this matter emphasized, right? What are the 3 points? That is separate section shall be there, clear reference shall be there, that auditor's opinion shall be given, that this is not, auditor's opinion is not modified based on this matter, right? And it should not be as per SA 701, that is key audit matter, or 705 modified matter, right? And coming to the requirements in other standards on auditing requiring the emphasis of matter paragraph. Some other standards are also there which requires the emphasis of matter paragraph, that is SA 210, SA 800, SA 560. SA 210 is requiring when the financial reporting framework by law or regulation would be unacceptable, but for the fact that is prescribed by the law or regulation. See, whenever the financial reporting framework prescribed by law is unacceptable, but for the fact that is prescribed by law or regulation, we have to do, that is SA 210. In this case also emphasis of matter paragraph will come as far as 706, and as well as SA 800, which is out of our service, that is to alert users that financial statements prepared in the according to the special purpose framework, that is SA 800 special purpose framework. When the facts, that is SA 560, where the facts become known to the auditor after the date of auditor's report, and the auditor provides a new or amended auditor's report. As for SA 560, that fact has come to the auditor after his date of audit report, and the auditor has amended that audit report, then it is an emphasis of matter paragraph shall be clearly given, right? Coming to the main question, that is circumstances when the emphasis of matter paragraph can be included in the auditor's report. We can say that is an examples of emphasis of matter paragraph, right? We have a shortcut for here, that is use major. U is for uncertainty, and S is for significant subsequent event, and E is for early application, and may is for major catastrophe. What is that? Use major: uncertainty, significant subsequent event, early application, major catastrophe. That is an uncertainty relating to the future outcome of an exceptional litigation or regulatory action. And that is an uncertainty. U is for uncertainty related to the future outcome of exceptional litigation or regulatory action. And next one is a significant subsequent event that occurs between the date of financial statement and the date of auditor's report, as per SA 560. That is a significant subsequent event and early application of new accounting standard that has a pervasive effect on the financial statements in advance of its effective date, right? Early application of new accounting standard, and a major catastrophe that has or had continues to have significant effect on the entire financial position. These are the 4 examples we can give emphasis of matter paragraph. What are the examples? Use major, that is use uncertainty of a future outcome of financial, which outcome of exceptional litigation or regulatory action. A significant subsequent event that occurs between the date of financial statement and the auditor's report. Early application new accounting standard that have pervasive effect on the financial position in advance before its effective date. A major catastrophe that has or had continues to have a significant effect on entity's financial position, right? And coming to the next one, that is requirements with respect to the other matter paragraph in the auditor's report. The requirements in other matter paragraph are the same. Like if the auditor considers it necessary to communicate the matter other than those represented or disclosed in the financial event, that the auditor judgment is relevant to the user understanding of audit responsibilities or auditor's report, that the auditor shall include the matter paragraph report provided there is no prohibited by the law or regulation. Means other matter paragraph can be included in the audit report. There is no prohibition from the law or regulation, or else if such matter is not a key audit matter, then he can clearly write what he can clearly report in the auditor's report as other matter paragraph. And also separate section should be there for the other matter paragraph as well. When the auditor includes other matter paragraph in the auditor's report, the auditor shall include matter paragraph with a separate section with the heading other matter paragraph or other appropriate heading, right? And coming to the next one is placement of emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph in the auditor's report, where this emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph are placed in the auditor's report. This depends on the nature of information that we are communicating, right? If the auditors think that relevant significance of such information to the intended users, right? If the auditor judgment thinks that there is significant information, significance of such information intended to users compared to the other elements of the requirement, SA 700, right? The placement depends upon the nature of information to be communicated and the auditor's judgment that the relevant significance of this information compared to the other elements of required the SA 700. Means auditor think that this is have relevant in significance, then auditor will have the change in the placement where that particular emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph should be placed. First we discuss about the emphasis of matter paragraph. See, whenever the emphasis of matter paragraph relates to the applicable financial reporting framework and including circumstances where the auditor determines that the financial reporting framework prescribed by law or regulation would otherwise be unacceptable, right? If that emphasis matter paragraph is relating to the financial reporting framework, then and also including circumstances that the auditor determines the financial reporting framework prescribed by the law would otherwise be unacceptable, the auditor may consider it necessary to place the immediately be following the basis for opinion paragraph to provide appropriate context to the auditor's opinion, right? Then in this case he has to do what, if the financial reporting framework is unacceptable, then auditor has to place this emphasis of matter paragraph just before the basis for just after immediately following the basis of opinion paragraph, right? And coming to the next one, when the key audit matter section is presented in the auditor's report, an emphasis of matter paragraph may be presented either directly before or after the key audit matter, right? When there is a key audit matter as per SA 701, then the emphasis of matter paragraph can be either before that key audit matter paragraph or as maybe after that key audit matter paragraph based on auditor judgment, so as to the relevant significance of the information including the emphasis of matter paragraph. It depends on the auditor's significant auditor judgment. He can know as well as before or key audit matter or after key audit matter, right? There are two placements for emphasis of matter paragraph, either immediately after the basis for opinion paragraph or before or after key audit matter, right? When it is immediately after basis for opinion paragraph, that is applicable financial reporting framework is unacceptable, right? In that case, right? And also the heading shall be emphasis of matter paragraph, subsequent event or any particular shall be made, as well as same coming to the other matter paragraph, right? Even the other matter paragraph, when the key audit matter section is presented in the auditor's report and the other matter paragraph is also considered necessary, the auditor may add further context to the heading, that is he may add some extra point to the heading other matter paragraph scope of audit to differentiate the other matter paragraph from the individual matters described in the key audit matters, right? To differentiate, the auditor may use some further headings also you can use, right? And coming to the placement, whether other matter paragraph is included to draw user attention to matter relating to other reporting responsibilities addressed to the auditor's report, then the paragraph may be included in the report on other legal and regulatory requirement section, right? If that other matter paragraph is included to draw the user attention in matter relating to other reporting responsibilities, right? Matter relating to other reporting responsibilities, then that auditor report, the paragraph may be included in the reporting other legal and regulatory paragraph, that other matter paragraph shall be included in that paragraph, right? And coming to the next one, when relevant to all the auditor's responsibilities for users' understanding of the auditor's report, the other matter paragraph may be included as a separate section following the reports on auditor financial statements, report or other legal regulatory matters, right? If the auditor's relevant responsibilities are there, matter paragraph may be included as in a separate section, right? That is following the other legal and regulatory information, that is other legal and regulatory paragraph is after that we have to give this other matter paragraph. And right, and communication to those charged with governance. If the auditor expects to include EOM or other matter paragraph in the auditor's report, the auditor shall communicate with those charged with governance regarding the expectation and the proposed wording of this paragraph, right? If the auditor thinks that he want to include this EOM or other matter paragraph, he has to communicate with those charged with governance regarding the expectation and the key and what are the proposed wordings of this paragraph to this particular those charged with governance. This is all about 706, that is emphasis of matter paragraph and the matter paragraph, right? Written coming to the standard, that is SA 710, that is comparative information, corresponding figures and comparative financial statements, right? This is one of the important standard expected standard, SA 710, comparative information, corresponding figures and comparative financial statements, right? We classify this into three categories: meaning and types of comparative information, audit procedures and audit reporting, right? Meaning and types of comparative information, audit procedures and audit reporting, right? And coming to the meaning of types of comparative, coming to the meaning of comparative information means what? The amounts and disclosures included in the financial statements in respect of one or more prior periods in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. These are the amounts and disclosures included in the financial statements in respect of one or more prior periods in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. Means the amounts and disclosures in this current period financial statements which are of a prior period, one or more previous period, that are as per the applicable financial reporting framework, then they are called comparative information. There are two types: corresponding years and comparative financial statements, right? Comparative information is the amounts and disclosures. The keyword here is amount and disclosures. Amount and disclosures include the financial statements in respect of one or more prior periods in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. There are classified into two types, that is corresponding figures and comparative financial statements. Corresponding figures means the comparative information where the amount and other disclosures for the prior period are included as an integral part of current period financial statements, right? The keyword is integral part of current period financial statements and are intended to be read only in relation to the amounts and other disclosures relating to the current period, right? And the keyword is intended to be read only in relation, right? Corresponding figures are those comparative information where the amounts and other disclosures for the prior period are included as an integral part of the current period financial statements and are intended to be read only in relation to the amounts and disclosures relating to the current period. Means, for example, if you see the balance sheet, we have 2018 figures and 2019 figures, right? 2018 figures are the previous prior period figure. They are just meant for reading purpose only with respect to the amounts and disclosures with respect to our current period 2019. This is called corresponding figures, right? Then in the balance sheet and P&L account also we'll see the same thing, 2018 2019. Then 2018 figures are the corresponding figures. They are forming part of integral part of the financial system, right? This is an example of corresponding figures. Once again, we'll see the definition of corresponding figures. Corresponding figures, the comparative information where the amounts and other disclosures for the prior periods are included as an integral part of current period financial statements and intended to be read only. They are intended to be read only in relation to what? In relation to with the disclosures and amounts of this related to the current period financial statements, right? And coming to the next, comparative financial statements. Comparative financial statements means are those the comparative information where the amounts and other disclosures for the prior period or periods are included for comparison with the financial statements of the current period, but if audited or referred to in the auditor's opinion, right? This is a special case. Like for example, for any listing of any company, they will ask a balance sheet of 5 to 5 years, 4 years, right? And they will ask them to get audited, right? In that case, we will have the 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, all the figures. Like there are more prior periods and they are, right? Then these figures are compared in the financial statements of the current period 2018, 2019, 2020. This is called comparative financial statement. This is a special case. Once again, we read the definition of comparative financial statements. Comparative information where the amounts of the disclosures for the prior period are included for comparison. This is for included for comparison to the corresponding figures is for reading only purpose. Comparing the financial statements of the current period, but if audited are referred to in the auditor's opinion. If these audited are referred to the audited opinion, right? And coming to the next one, that is audit procedures. How this audit procedure is going to happen, we'll see. And there we'll see whether the first one we did determine whether the financial statements includes the comparative information required with the financial reporting framework and whether such information is classified appropriately. First we have to see whether that the comparative information is classified comparative information is required with applicable financial reporting framework or not, whether such financial comparative information is classified appropriately or not. First we have to see what the first step, whether the financial statements include comparative information or required the financial reporting framework and whether such financial information is classified appropriately, and that is the first step. And second step is evaluate whether the comparative information agrees with the amounts and other disclosures presented in the prior items, right? We have given 2018 figures, right? In 2019 figures corresponding 2018 figures are taken from the previous year, and we have to evaluate whether the comparative information related to the 2018 figures agrees with the amounts and other disclosures presented in the prior period. Means prior period balance sheet we have to take, prior audited financial statements we have to take, and we have to check this 2018 figures whether they have been agreeing with the previous figures or not, right? That is whether comparative information agrees with the amounts and other disclosures presented in the prior period. That is second point. And second point is whether the accounting policies reflected in the comparative information are consistent with those applied in the current period. Means whether the accounting policies reflected in the comparative information are consistent in the current period or not, right? The accounting policies will be consistently followed. If the changes in accounting policies, if any, have been properly accounted for and adequately presented and disclosed, right? If there are any changes, they have to be properly accounted and adequately disclosed, right? What is the first step of audit process? First we have to determine that the financial statement include comparative financial information as required to the financial reporting framework, and we have to check whether they have been appropriately classified or not. Next we have to evaluate three things. For evaluate whether the comparative financial statements agree with the prior period amount of the disclosure presented in the prior periods, and whether the accounting policies reflected in the comparative information are consistent with those applied in the current period, and if the changes in accounting policies they have been properly accounted for and adequately disclosed and presented, right? And next, the third audit procedure is we have to check if in case the auditor has a doubt over the existence of misstatement, then auditor has to perform additional audit procedures to obtain sufficient and approved audit evidence to determine the existence of any material misstatement, right? If the auditor has any doubt over the existence of misstatement, then he has to perform some additional audit procedures to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to determine the existence of material misstatement. Like here SF 560 subsequent events also applies if the auditor had audited the prior period financial event. Like the subsequent events will apply in this particular case, that is doubt over the existence of financial misstatement. That is third step. And fourth step is obtain written representation from the management. From management to reaffirm that written representation it previously made with respect to the prior period remain appropriate. Like in the previous period also we have taken from that written representation, right? We have to again take that written representation that to reaffirm that the written representation previously made with respect to prior periods is remain appropriate, that that written representation has not changed. We have to take again that written representation, right? What are the audit procedure? Once again, determine first we have to determine that the financial company information is as per the applicable financial reporting framework, and then we have to take whether the classification is appropriate. Then we have to evaluate three things: evaluate the corresponding comparative information agrees with the prior period, and whether the accounting policies are reflected in the comparative information are consistent with our current period. If there is a change in accounting policies, then properly accounted for and disclosed or presented. If any auditor has any doubt about the existence of misstatement, he has to further audit procedures he has to perform and obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence about the existence of to determine the existence of material misstatements, right? And he has to obtain a written representation to reaffirm that the written representation it previously made with respect to prior period items remains appropriate, right? And coming to the next one that we have here is that is corresponding audit reporting in case of corresponding figures. Audit reporting in case of corresponding figures, how the auditor has to do the audit reporting. That is an audit opinion not to refer the corresponding figures except means if in case of corresponding figures we have said, right, that 2018 2019 only that integral part of the current period financial statement. That thing here we have to audit opinion not to refer the corresponding figures means audit opinion shall not refer the corresponding figures except means in the following given cases we have to refer to the corresponding figures in the audit opinion. Also, auditors report to in prior period financial statements were modified and the subject matter is still unresolved, modify current audit report also, right? If the audit report on prior period financial statements were modified means the prior period financial statements audit report is modified, it may be qualified address or disclaimer, right? And subject matter is still unresolved, whatever the modification basis for opinion paragraph in that matter is still unresolved, then in this current period also auditor has to modify the report. And in the next second situation is auditor substance audit evidence with respect to the existence of material misstatement in the prior period financial on which the unmodified opinion was issued, express qualified or adverse opinion in current period with respect to the corresponding figures if misstatement has not been dealt as per the applicable financial reporting framework, right? And the next second situation where the reference will be given to an audit opinion is the auditor obtains that sufficient audit evidence with respect to the material misstatement. We have seen that if auditor has doubt or the existence of material misstatement in our audit procedures, that doubt has been confirmed means there is some material misstatement, and also that prior period audit report is unmodified, then in the current period auditor has to explain the modify his opinion with respect to the corresponding case if the misstatement has not been dealt in as per the applicable financial reporting framework, right? And coming to the prior period financial reporting or audited by another auditor. If the prior period financial audited by another auditor, like first we have discussed, right? This is a prior period auditor also by the person who is auditing the current period also. If the case is a prior period auditor or is audited by another auditor, if the law and regulation permits the reference to the predecessor auditor report on the corresponding figures, current auditor report to include other matter paragraph. Like if law allows that the current auditor to give reference to the predecessor audit report, then what? Then this current auditor has to include in other matter paragraph what financial statements of prior period are audited by the another auditor and the types of opinion expressed by the predecessor auditor, reasons and modifications if any, the date of the audit report means the prior period auditor has been financial statements of prior period auditor has been audited by the another auditor, and types of opinion expressed by the predecessor auditor and reasons for that and data for the audit report also. What if the case of prior period financial statements are unaudited? Include other matters paragraph that the corresponding figures are unaudited, right? Same thing we have to include another matter paragraph that corresponding figures for other matter paragraph is for SS 106, right? We have discussed, right? That is SS 106 and the corresponding figures are unaudited, but this does not relieve the auditor from need to obtain sufficient and upload evidence that the opening balance do not contain misstatements that can potentially affect the current financial statements, right? In this with the prior period financial statements are unaudited, auditor has to express in other matter paragraph that the prior period corresponding figures are unaudited, but this does not relieve him for verification of his opening balance, right? We have in the 500 series 1 standard is there, right? But for that standard auditor has to that duty is not relieved. That means, but this does not relieve the auditor from the need to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence that opening balances do not contain misstatements that can potentially affect the current period financial statements, right? And coming to the next one, audit reporting in case of comparative financial statements. The audit opinion to refer to each period for which the financial statements are presented and which opinion is expressed means audit opinion has to refer to the each period of the financial statements are presented and which the opinion is expressed, right? We have already said like this compared to our financial information is different, that we have a lot of sets of financial statements 3 to 4. Then audit opinion is to refer each period for which the financial statements are presented and which opinion is expressed. If the opinion of prior period financial statements expressed in the current period differ from the opinion expressed in the relevant period, give substantive reasons for the difference in other meta paragraph, right? If right, what is the case if the opinion on prior period financial statements expressed in current period differs, means the previous period financial opinion is different and current period financial the opinion on that prior period financial statements is different, then what auditor has to do, then the relevant prior period gives substantive reason for difference in the other matter. I think you understand this point, like with the prior period financial statements like 2017-18, at that time of audit report, that is audit report is qualified, but in 2019-20 related to the 2017-18 that relevant prior period, the audit report now the each opinion is adverse, then there is a difference of opinion that for the reasons has to be given, right? Once again we'll read this. If the opinion of prior period financial statements in current period differ from the opinion expressed in relevant prior period, give substantive reason for differences in other matter paragraph. Like if the opinion of prior period financial statements expressed in the current period differ from the opinion expressed in relevant prior period, give substantive reason for difference in other matter paragraph, right? Right, and that the prior period of financial statements are audited and by the auditor, the same thing as we have discussed earlier. Prior period of financial statements are audited, the same thing we have discussed, but in prior period financial statements are audited by another auditor, one point is that if the material misstatement exists in prior period financial statement not reflected in the previous audit report, if there is material misstatement that exists in prior period financial statement not reflected in the previous audit report, then what he has to do, he has to communicate the misstatement to the management or those charged with governance. The request that the predecessor auditor to be informed, request that the predecessor auditor be informed means that if the material misstatement exists in the prior period financial statement not reflected in the previous audit report, what the current auditor has to do, he has to communicate the misstatement to the management or those charged with governance, and we request that management or those charged with governance to inform the predecessor auditor about this, right? This is all about SA 710. And coming to our next standard, is SA 720, that is auditor's responsibilities relating to the other information. What is that? Auditor's responsibilities relating to the other information, right? In this standard, we are going to discuss about what is other information and what are the requirements in respect of obtaining other information, and what are the requirements in respect of considering other information, and what are the auditor's responses on a material misstatement in the other information, how the auditor is going to respond, and we'll see some examples of amounts and other items that amounts to what other information, right? Going to the topic straight away, that is auditor's responsibilities relating to other information. What auditor's responsibilities relating to other information? Coming to the definition, what is the meaning of other information? Other information defines the term other information as a financial as well as non-financial information other than the financial statements and the auditor's reports thereon, including entities annual report, right? What is other information? As far as SA 720, that is understand auditor's responsibilities relating to other information as a financial or non-financial information other than the financial statements and auditor's report, including the entity's annual report, right? Apart from financial statements and auditor's report, whatever the documents made in the annual report is called other information, and how is the auditor is going to have responsibilities, we will discuss in the particular standard. And coming to the next one is requirements of SA 720 as to obtaining the other information, how the auditor has to obtain other information, right? First auditor determine through discussion, first auditor has to discuss with the management which documents comprise of annual report and entity's planned manner of timing of issue of such documents. First auditor has to discuss with management that which documents you are going to comprise the form part of annual return, for annual report, and entity's planned manner and timing of issuance of such documents. Means sometimes the documents may be issued even after annual report filing also, so the auditor has to get the timing of the term. First he has to discuss with the management regarding this other information, and next make appropriate arrangements with the management to obtain timely manner, if possible prior to the date of auditor's report, the final version of the documents comprising the annual report, right? Then first he has to discuss, then he has to make appropriate arrangement that with the management that he should get that sufficient information about other information prior to the date of auditor report, if possible, right? What if that when some or all the documents determined above will not be available until after the date of auditor's report, some information that management will not be available, will not give, that is after the date of auditor report that management has given that other information in the report, then what the auditor or the management or the auditor has to do, auditor has to obtain a written representation from the management that the final version of the documents will be provided to the auditor when available, right? He has to obtain a written representation from the management that whenever these documents are available, please provide those documents, final version of those documents to us, and prior to it issuance by the management, right? Prior to means before issuing that, so those documents, the auditor can perform his responsibility as per this SA 720, right? What are the three obtaining of other information? First he has to discuss with the management through discussion with the management, which documents are comprised of annual report and timely issuance of this to those documents. Next, we have to make appropriate arrangements as practicable with the management to obtain information as practicable if possible prior to the date of audit report. If not possible, he has to make a written representation from the management that they will final version of this document will be provided to the auditor where available, and prior to issuance of this entity by the entity, the auditor can perform as per SA 720 his responsibilities, right? And coming to the requirements of SA 720 as to considering the other information, how the other information is considered by this particular auditor as per this particular standard, right? The auditor shall read the other information, and in doing so shall, the word read is the auditor shall read the other information, and in doing so, right? What the auditor shall read, the auditor shall read that information, and in doing so shall, there are 2 points here, very important points. Consider whether there is a material misstatement. The 2 points deal with the material misstatements, right? Consider whether there is a material misstatements between the other information and the financial statements. What material misstatement between the other information and the financial statements? As the basis for the consideration, the auditor shall evaluate the consistency, compare. For this consistency, for material inconsistency, has to compare the two items, that is selected amounts or items in the other information, in the other information that are intended to be same or to summarize or provide greater detail about the amounts or other items in the financial statements with such amounts or items in the financial statements, right? What is that? Once again, the auditor has to consider what material inconsistency between other information, the financial statements. As the basis of this, for this consideration, the auditor shall to evaluate the consistency, has to compare other items, selected amounts or other items in the other information with the such amounts or other items in the financial statements, right? What is the other items, other amounts and other items in the other information means? Those other items and other amounts in the financial other information is that are intended to be same or to summarize or to provide greater detail about the information about the other amounts, other items in the financial statements, right? He has to compare these both two, then he has to consider whether there is material inconsistency or not. Coming to the second point, that is consider whether there is material inconsistency in between other information and auditor's knowledge obtained in audit. The first point is related to the material inconsistency between other information and the financial statements information. And here second point, the material inconsistency between other information and auditor's judgment, auditor's knowledge about obtained in audit in the context of audit evidence obtained and conclusions reached in audit, right? Whether in the context of auditor's knowledge about obtained in audit in context of audit evidence obtained and conclusions reached in audit, right? These are the two things that is consideration of other information. While reading the other information, the auditor shall remain alert for indication that the other information not related to financial statement or other auditor's knowledge obtained in audit appears to be material misstatement, right? The auditor has to remain alert, the auditor has to be maintain professional skepticism, that is remain alert for the indications that other information are not related to the financial statements or the auditor's knowledge obtained in the audit appears to be material misstatement, because that information is not related to both financial statements as well as the auditor's knowledge, but it affects the financial statement, it is materially misstated, right? The auditor has to be very careful. This is about requirements as per SA 720 as to considering the other information, right? And coming to the auditor's responses on the material misstatement and other information, if there is material misstatement and other information, how the auditor has to respond those things, right? We're going to discuss right now. Right, in this case there are three cases, right? What if the auditor concludes that there is a material misstatement of the other information exist, right? That is one case. And what if the auditor concludes the material misstatement exist in other information obtained prior to the date of auditor's report? And next one is if the auditors conclude that the material misstatement exists in other information obtained after the date of auditor's report. These are the key three situations. First situation, if the auditor concludes the material misstatement of the other information exists, the auditor shall request the management to correct the information. If management agrees to make the correction, the auditor shall determine the correction has been made, or refuses to make the correction, the auditor shall communicate the matter with those charged with governance and request that correction shall be made. First, see, if there is a material misstatement in other information exists, what auditor has to do, he has to inform the management correct this other information misstatement. Then if the management correct, then it's fine. If the management does not correct, then we have to inform this to those charged with governance and requesting them to correct, right? That is the first case. And come to the second case, if the auditor concludes that the material misstatement exists in other information obtained prior to the date of auditor's report, prior to the date of auditor's report, and other information is not corrected after communicating with those charged with governance, and the auditor shall take appropriate action, including, right? In the first case, we have said we have informed the management, we have informed those charged with governance to correct, right? Even in that case, that the other information exists, that the auditor includes other information concludes that material misstatement exists in other information obtained prior to the date of auditor's report, and as well as other information is not corrected by the management, even though after communicating with the management, then auditor has to do the following, right? What auditor has to do? Auditor has to do consider the implication of the auditor's report. Because of this other information, material misstatement, what is the implication in my audit report? And communication with those charged with governance about how the auditor plans to address the material misstatement in the audit report. And again, you have to communicate to those charged with governance, like how I am going to plan to address this material misstatement in our audit report. First, he has to do implication, then he has to communicate those charged with governance how he is going to address particular material misstatement in the audit report. And he has to withdraw, and one more thing, he withdraw from the management where withdrawal is possible, and when the other applicable law regulations, he can withdraw where applicable law and regulation permit so. Right? This is the second case. And the third case, if the auditor concludes the material misstatement exists in other information obtaining after the date of auditor's report, and the auditor shall do, right? If there is a material misstatement obtained that is after the auditor's report, what auditor has to do? If the other information is corrected, perform procedures necessary in circumstances, right? If the other information is corrected, perform necessary procedures like as per 720, the procedures you perform, check whether material inconsistency is there, that procedures you perform. And if other information is not corrected after communicating with those charged with governance, take appropriate action considering the auditor's legal rights and obligations to seek to have uncorrected material misstatements appropriately brought to the attention of the users for whom the auditor's report is prepared, right? Because this material inconsistency came to the notice of the auditor after audit report, he cannot withdraw from the agreement. Audit report has already been filed. Then what he has to do? First case, if the other information is corrected, perform such procedures as required by circumstances. If that other information is not corrected, even though after communication with those charged with governance, what auditor has to do? He has to consider the auditor's legal rights and obligations to seek to have the uncorrected material misstatements appropriately brought to, right? He has to check his auditor's legal rights and obligations, right? Because the auditor has given the audit report to the users for the understanding, right? That thing, those uncorrected material misstatements appropriately, those things shall be brought to those users, right? To the attention of those users for whom the auditor's report is prepared. The auditor has to take the sufficient steps. If the other information is not corrected after communicating with those charged with governance, take appropriate action considering the auditor's legal rights and regulations to seek to have uncorrected material misstatements appropriately brought to the attention of the users for whom the auditor report is prepared. Three cases: information exists prior, not corrected; information exists after the audit report; information exists, agree, management, corrected, okay, not corrected, go to the those charged with governance. And information that material misstatement exists prior to audit report and management not corrected, what he has to do? Implication of the audit report, and he has to communicate with those charged with governance how he is going to address the particular material misstatement and withdraw from the management if law permits so. If the material misstatement is after the audit report, if the other information is corrected, then fine, perform such other responsibilities as per the standard. If other information is not corrected by those charged with governance, even after communicating, then he has to see his legal obligations and rights, so that the materially misstated uncorrected statements are appropriately brought to the notice attention of the users of the financial statement to whom they are prepared, right? We have said in our the requirements of SS 720 as to considering other information, that material inconsistency, other amounts and other items said, like for this they have asked one question: what are the other amounts and what are the other items? This is a very simple question, right? Amounts includes amounts, other items they have separately classified. Examples: amounts includes items in summary of key financial results such as net income, earnings per share, dividend per share, other reporting, revenues, purchases and operating expenses, right? Summary of these things we can have an example of other information. And selected operating data such as income from continuing operations by major operations, segment wise, geographical wise, product line wise, we can give that other information. Is also other information. Specific items such as asset disposition, litigation provisions, asset impairment, environmental remedial provisions, restructuring and reorganization expenses, that is also formed part of other information as under head amount. And liquidity and capital resources of information, right? What are the cash and cash equivalents available, marketable securities, dividends, debt, capital, minority interest obligations. Cash expenditure by segment wise we can give, that is also here, that is also example of amount. And also we can give amounts involved in related to the financial effects of off balance sheet items, amount involved in a guarantee, contractual obligations, legal and environmental claims, right? Financial measures such as ratios as gross turnover ratio, debt equity ratio, return on average capital employed, equity current ratio, right? These things also form part of amounts. And coming to the other item does not include amount, but they will include description and explanations, right? Description and explanation, right? Description of what? Description of nature of off balance sheet item, description of guarantees, indemnifications, contractual obligations, litigations, environmental liability cases, other contingencies, including management qualitative assessment of entities related exposures, right? Description of nature of off balance sheet item, guarantees, indemnification, description of trends in market prices of key commodities or raw materials, description of change in legal or regulatory framework, that is new tax something, new tax environmental regulations have materially impacted the entity's operations of fiscal position, right? And also we can have explanation of critical accounting estimates and related assumptions. And also we have explanation of specific factors influencing the entity's profitability in specific segments, right? These are the other items. And we can say overview of strategy, general description of a business environment and outlook, right? Contact of supply, demand, regulatory circumstances, right? And identification of dead parties and description of the transactions with them. This is about other items you can write on your own, right? This is about SA 720, right? Thing is reporting is pending. The reporting auditor's responsibility includes separate section with the heading other information. There should be a separate heading in the other information as 720, and it will say that for an audit of financial of listed entity, the auditor has obtained or expects to obtain the other information, right? If it is listed entity, the auditor has obtained or expect to obtain means after the data also paid data for but also can obtain, right? The statement shall be given that for an audit of financial of an unlisted corporate entity, the auditor has obtained some or all of the other information. This is the listed entity obtain, except to obtain, unlisted corporate entity obtain some or all of the information. When the auditor's report is required to include the other information section, it shall include the statement management responsibility of the information, right? It is included, right? If the other information is responsibility of management, and an identification of other information, if any, obtained by the auditor prior to the date of auditor's report. And for an auditor financial of a listed entity, other information is any expected to be obtained after the date of auditor's report, right? If it is an identification of other information which is obtained shall be given in that particular report, that is paragraph. And also the statement that auditor's opinion does not cover the other information, and accordingly the auditor does not express, means the auditor opinion does not cover and he is not expressing any opinion on a particular statement. And also a description of auditor responsibility as a particular statement shall be given. And if then other information has been prior to the date of auditor's report, a statement that auditor's report has nothing to report, or if the auditor has concluded that there is an uncorrected material misstatement to the after information, that statement describes the uncorrected material misstatements also, right? When the auditor expresses a qualified adverse opinion in accordance with SA 705, the auditor shall consider the implications of the matter giving rise to the modification and opinion of the matter paragraph, right? And coming next one is the documentation. In addressing to study the auditor has performed, the documentation has to be documented, and the final version of the documents information on the auditor has performed this work also shall be documented, right? And coming to one more thing, reporting prescribed laws and regulations, right? If the auditor is required with the relevant laws, regulation, or refer to the other information in the auditor report using a specific layout or wording, the auditor report shall refer to the standards on auditing only if that auditor report includes at minimum, right? This is the case like if auditor is required by relevant law or regulation, right? If any relevant law or regulation is saying that the auditor shall refer to the other information in the auditor report, after specific format is that by the relevant law, then the auditor report shall only make a reference to the standards on auditing if that there is a minimum the three things in that paragraph, then only he can refer the SA 720, right? Otherwise he need not refer the SA 720, he can give that as per SA law, particular law or regulations. What are the three things? Identification of the other information obtained by the auditor prior to the date of auditor's report, means what are the other information he has identified prior to the date of auditor's report, and description of auditor's responsibilities with respect to the other information. What is the auditor's responsibility? First one, identification of the information, auditor responsibilities, and next one, explicit statement addressing the outcome of the auditor's work for this purpose, right? And explicit statement, the statement shall be clear, explicit statement that addressing the outcome of the auditor's work of this purpose, means what the auditor has done and what is the outcome of the particular purpose, whether material inconsistency there or not, or materially misstatement there or not, that is outcome. What are the 3 points? Identification of the other information, description of the auditor's responsibilities, and explicit statement setting the outcome of the auditor's work on this purpose, right? This is all about SA 720. What is this SA 720? The auditor's responsibilities in relating to other information, right? Right, and one more important question we have missed, that is in SA 705 we have discussed that circumstances in which the modified opinion may be issued, right? In the second point, the auditor is unable to obtain sufficient approved audit evidence to conclude the financial statements are as a whole are free from material misstatement. That point is right. In that point we have limitation imposed by management, circumstances beyond the entity control, circumstances related to the nature, timing, extent of auditor's work. In RTP May 2020, they have been asked examples for that particular things. That is, circumstances beyond the control of entity, what are the examples, and circumstances related to the nature of entities or to work, what are the examples, and limitations imposed by the management, what are the examples. We can write down your own, but we just have a word, right? Circumstances beyond the entity control. What is the circumstances beyond entity control in which that is unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence beyond entity control? Right? The entity's accounting records have been destroyed by fire accident. The entities and entity controls have been destroyed by fire accidents, and the accounting records of significant component. The accounting records of significant component have been seized indefinitely by the government authorities. These are the two cases. Significant component have been seized by the government authority, and there is fire accident has happened. And then limitations imposed by the management. Limitation imposed by the management. In that, the management prevents the auditor from observing the counting of the physical inventory. Means the management prevents the auditor from observing the counting of physical inventory, and the management prevents the auditor from requesting external confirmation as per 505. The management has prevented for requesting external confirmation of specific account balances. Right? Because of these limitation has been imposed, and that is examples of limitation, and so many other things also we can write. And coming to circumstances related to the nature, timing, extent of auditor's work. These examples we will not find examples, but we will discuss. There are 3 examples given as per RTV 2020. Circumstances related to the nature and timing of auditor's work. The entity is required to use an equity method of accounting for an associated entity, and the auditor is unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence about the latest financial information to evaluate that the equity method has been properly applied or not. Right? The entity is required to use what method? Equity method for accounting of associated entity, but the auditor has unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence that the equity method has been used or not. That is one our circumstances related to the nature, timing of auditor's work. And next, the timing of the auditor's appointment is such that auditor is unable to observe the counting of the physical inventory. Means we have appointed the auditor in such timing that he is unable to observe the counting of physical inventory. That is one circumstances that is issued relating to the nature, timing, extent of auditor's work. And next one is the auditor determines that performing substantive procedures alone is not sufficient, but the entity's controls are not effective. But the entity's means auditor thinks that the substantive procedures alone are not sufficient, but the entity's controls are not effective. Right? These are the cases. What are the cases? These three cases looks different. That is, the entity is required to use the equity method for accounting for a certain entity, but auditor is unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence because whether the entity has used the equity method or not. And the timing of the auditor's appointment is such a way that the auditor is unable to observe the counting of the physical inventory. The auditor determines that performing substantive is not enough because the entity internal controls are not effective. Right? These are the 3 examples, and these are the examples asked in the RTP May 2020. Right? That's it all for the 700 series is completed. Right?